Okay.
All right, so do you want to start recording then right now?
I just did.
What, you did, okay. Okay, this is the webinar to set up and deploy company webinars, the Life Maps webinar, that is, on the Webinar Jam platform. I'm Ralph Dyer. Steven Zelina is ably assisting. This webinar is for training Life Maps personnel on how to create webinars using the Webinar Jam platform. Webinars are an important part of our communications to our clients, and these guidelines must be followed exactly so our conversions remain high and our brand image is consistent and professional. If you follow the steps in this webinar, you'll be able to create and successfully launch a Life Maps webinar sales campaign or company training session. There's also a guidebook that describes Life Maps webinar process. You can access the guidebook on the company's Yammer site. Our objective is to make this as simple as possible so that everyone, including entry-level associates, can launch a webinar using this powerful webinar platform. As with all Life Maps communications, we are always open to suggestions if there are any parts of this webinar that are confusing or that you think could be better explained. Your feedback is welcome. The purpose of this webinar is to help you create the most professional webinars possible while maintaining quality and consistency. The ultimate objective is to convert prospects to clients at the highest rate possible. This webinar and the accompanying manual will be continuously upgraded to include links to all digital assets required for use in webinars, including branding, logos, slogans, etc., stock photos, video clips, and more. Please be certain to follow directions and adhere to the company's guidelines so that we may maintain the highest standards and consistent results. This also helps ensure that we avoid any unnecessary liability. All right. Okay, so now you go into the web page. All right. This brings us to the page labeled Webinar Description. Here's where you enter the name, the webinar title, and the webinar description. The webinar name is whatever you want to call the webinar for your own reference purposes. The webinar title and the description are what your audience will see. You'll follow the Life Maps naming policy when it comes to choosing a title and description. That policy is in the manual, and the titling of webinars that will be seen by the public require approval by Life Maps Marketing. Next step is to schedule your webinar. Just below the description and titling is where you will schedule your webinar. You have two options to schedule your webinar. You can schedule it now, and it will begin as soon as you publish the webinar. Or you can check Schedule it for later and specify a date and time for the webinar to occur. This will be by far the most frequent choice. You can also add additional sessions for the webinar if you want to run it more than one time. Webinar presenters or administrators. Administrators are the people who operate all of the webinar software features and functions and who may also be speakers. Ordinarily, it would only be one or two administrators. Presenters are speakers and can operate all of the webinar features and functions. You can have up to 10 different presenters and administrators for each webinar session. Each administrator or presenter should enter their name, a photo, if available, and an email address. The first administrator will be the super administrator. Checkbox which says this will be the webinar super administrator needs to be checked. For all other administrators or presenters, the checkbox says this will be an active speaker at the webinar session. If this is checked, then the photo that was uploaded will be displayed in the webinar live room, displaying as active speaker. Once you have entered all the information, click on the Save Module button to save the information. Next is registration. In Webinar Jam, you can choose a design for the registration page, or you can create your own custom design. once you have a template button, different registration fields will be displayed according to the design you selected. Now, with LifeMaps webinars, LifeMaps marketing department will provide the LifeMaps webinar page design, registration page design. That's so that we maintain consistency and professionalism throughout all our webinars. In the first box, you can enter the website address to a custom logo image if you have one that you may want to add. Once again, LifeMaps marketing department will provide custom images, logos, and you need to follow our branding guidelines when submitting logos. Oh, man. That's not very good. In the second box, enter the header line. You have a maximum of 80 characters. This is the header line for your registration page. Once again, throughout all these steps, LifeMaps Marketing will provide header lines, any titles, any information like that that you need to create a custom webinar. Now, it's important to understand that there's a difference between consumer webinars and internal training type webinars. Guidelines, while not as strict on the internal training webinars, are nevertheless still in place. And it's a good idea to maintain professionalism in all webinars that we create. We create consistency. In the next box, you can enter the website address to a custom video if you have one you want to add. Click on Allowed Video Formats link. This shows the video formats that are compatible with the software. In the next box, you can check the Display Social Media Share buttons to display Facebook and Twitter buttons if you want attendees to link to your webinar registration page. Now, Stephen, a question for you here. Stephen, can you hear me? Hello? Display the webinar information box will display information about the webinar and the presenters. So you can insert next, you can check the display text copy checkbox to display text in the webinar registration page. So there you can write in whatever description you want. And once again, LifeMaps Marketing will provide correct, consistent text to be entered into any of these boxes where it requires this sort of information. Again, that's particularly for consumer or public webinars. For internal training webinars, you can pretty much enter whatever you want to enter in there to describe the training session that's taking place. Next, the registration box field section contains information about the people who will be attending the webinar. The name and email boxes are already checked, and you can decide if you want to provide a phone number now. Want them to provide a phone number or not. In the registration process steps section, you can check any one of the two check boxes. If you want registration to be a one-step process, then check one-step registration, and everything will be done on the same page. If you check two-step registration, a Join Webinar button will be displayed. When an attendee clicks on that button, it will send them to another page to fill out the required information. Next is the Pay to Register section. Can you hear me, Stephen? No? Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, I see you. Hello? I can't hear you, though. I don't know. I can't hear you at all. I don't know if something's going on with your microphone or what. Are you there?
Hear me?
Oh, yeah, I just heard you then. I just
Can you
heard you
hear me?
briefly. Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I switched to the. Okay, yeah, I switched to the default microphone instead of the USB microphone.
Oh, all right, because it was seemed to be going fairly well. I mean, we had a few hiccups along the way, but, and I noticed I still need to finish yeah, sorry, I need to fix the script quite a bit, but I really want to test this thing out and make sure that it's going to work the way we want it to work, and this seems to be doing okay.
Yeah,
Are you,
it was doing okay, and I could hear you and everything.
all right, good. Now, I'm assuming you've recorded what we did so far, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we just keep going because the practice is good, right?
Okay.
Now, in terms of when I was reading things and saying, "Hey, this is what it does," because it's hard to read and follow what's going on the screen. Were you able to keep up and go well with that? All right.
Yeah. I'm at the pay to register page, going through everything.
Okay, so I'll pick up where I left off. Okay, in the pay to register section, and we're being recorded still, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In the pay to register section, there are two options. Free to register. This option means that people don't have to pay anything in order to register for your webinar. Oops. Charge to register. When you select this option, a number of fields will appear that need to be completed. In the registration fee text box, enter the amount that you wish to charge for attending the webinar. In the second text box, enter the URL to your checkout website like PayPal or another checkout provider. In the next text box, enter the URL to the post payment page. The text box after that contains the URL that will take the attendee to the webinar page after he or she has registered. Once you have entered all the information, click on Save Module button. There are two different parts of the notification section. Email notifications. The first is the email send-out gateway, where you may select from two options for sending emails to attendees. You can use the site's built-in email system by checking that option. Or you can use your own SMTP email server. If you select Use Your Own option, you will need to enter your name and email address as the sender. This is the name and address that the registered attendees will see when you send notifications. You also need to provide your SMTP server information, including the server, the port, username, and the password. LifeMaps uses its own SMTP server, and the server information will be provided by LifeMaps Marketing. The next text box concerns encryption, where you can choose any of the three following options. Off. Now the screen.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Yeah, my screen went black. Every now and then it just goes black. Oh, now it's back on. Okay, so I don't know what's going on there. Oh, now it's off again. Black. Now it's back.
Is it black
Off
now? Or
again.
what?
It's now it's kind of going crazy, and I see the Google Hangouts thing there.
But when I switch screens, it's all black?
Now it's back.
Okay.
Now it's back to the soft. Yeah, sometimes like Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
But it's back now, so we'll keep going. So that's a connectivity issue, or what do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it and figure out what it is.
All right. Next text box concerns encryption, where you can choose any of the following three options. Off, where there is no encryption, SSL, or TLS, depending on whether you want your emails to be encrypted. And now it went black again. Now it's back.
Okay.
Depending on now black, now going crazy, now back. See, I don't know what causes that. It's got to be some connectivity, no?
Well, it seems to be whenever I try to click something is when it does it. So, like when I try to click the drop down box. When is it on now?
Okay.
When is it? Is it regular screen now?
Yeah, it looks fine now.
Okay.
All right. Back to the thing. Depending on whether you want your emails to be encrypted, and if you do, what type of encryption you prefer. LifeMaps uses blank encryption. I don't know what to say there. We probably use SSL is my guess, right?
I'm not quite sure. I'll have to ask Jim.
Yeah. If you click on POP3 authentication, you'll have to enter the POP3 email server, the port, the username, and password. This is for authenticating whatever I'm sure it's for. And provide that information here, so it's a placeholder in my script. You can send an email by clicking on the checkbox. Send a welcome email. You need to add the subject body of the email. In the body, you will see some short codes like webinar title, description, presenter, date, and time. The value of these short codes depends on what you have configured in the general section. So the and click update. Now you can write the email body on your own. LifeMaps email text varies depending on the purpose of the webinar. For consumer, public-oriented email notifications, you'll need to get the approved email body, including text and other content, from LifeMaps Marketing, who will draft the email body. For internal webinars, for example, training, you'll need to get approval for emails from Human Resources. If you want to send a last-minute email notification to the people who have registered, you can do so by clicking on email, and you can add the subject line and customize the text body of the email. Once again, LifeMaps Marketing will provide the email body for any last-minute emails. You can send
there? Ralph, you there?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Steven.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but it's just not. It's waiting, waiting, and then nothing's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it shows. It shows in here. Shows your picture of you in here.
What's that noise? That Skype noise.
Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's showing your screen in here, so.
That's weird. I mean, it's just waiting on my screen. It says waiting for Google Plus. Or plus.google.com, whatever it is. So I don't know. Well, so at least we got some of it recorded, and we can kind of. I mean, I was hoping to get through the whole thing, and then we could, because it's as you go along, it gets easier. You kind of figure out what you're doing. I know the script definitely, but nevertheless, I think it's a good exercise to do this a bunch of times, and then we'll get to the point where it's straightforward and easy. The one thing, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I do want you to look at that. If I can find that and send that to you, and it's End of America, something or other. I'd like you to look at that, and then
I will.
You'll see what we're trying to get to.
Okay.
America.
I'm sure I can find it.
Yeah, I think maybe this is it here. No, that's not it. What's that guy's name? Agora. That's it here. Okay, hold on one second. I get the... All right, hold on one second. I know where it is. I know how to find it. That's not it. Well, I don't know where it is exactly, but Jim sent it to me, so I'll find it. And I don't know if he sent it to me on Skype or email. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right, I'll find it and send it to you. I have it in where I know that, so it's not a problem. I'll find it.
Okay.
And I don't, for some reason, this does not want to work. I don't know what.
Oh, maybe I'm back in. Can you see me on there now? Yep, I got you back.
I got you back.
All right, so do you want to finish, finish this up?
Yeah, I'm gonna end this call because it's gonna start doing crazy things.
Oh, the Skype. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Okay. So now I'm back in the webinar. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? We were in the pre-webinar notification email, I think. Okay. Okay. You can send pre-webinar notification emails to the people who have registered by clicking queue up some pre-webinar notifications. You can set the time you want this notification to be sent and enter the subject and body of the email. You can queue up any number of different pre-webinar notifications by clicking on the checkbox. Similarly, you can send post-webinar email notifications by clicking on the queue up notifications checkbox. It will contain a replay link. LifeMap sends post-webinar notifications in the case of consumer public webinars, and LifeMap's marketing will provide the body of those emails. Mobile notifications. You can send mobile phone notifications via SMS or a pre-recorded voice message. If you check Activate SMS and phone call reminder notifications, then the phone number details will be obtained when attendees register for the webinar. LifeMaps uses a third-party service provider, Tropo.com, to provide SMS to those attendees who choose that option for receiving notifications. LifeMaps marketing will help you set up the Tropo.com notifications when you're ready. You can also use Tropo.com to send pre-recorded voice message to those attendees who select that option. You need to enter the Tropo.com voice token in the link to the pre-recorded voice message in MP3 format. Once again, LifeMaps Marketing will help you set that up. Once you have entered all this information, click on Save Module button to save the information. Next is integrations. You can integrate your webinar with third-party software such as email autoresponder. Anyone who registers for your webinar is automatically subscribed to your mailing list. Click on Add Registrants to Mailing List and select the autoresponder company from the drop-down list. LifeMaps uses, I'm not sure who has Aweber, I guess, as its autoresponder provider. Once you select the provider, then you will see the name, email fields, which are mandatory fields. The name and email fields will already be checked. Okay. If you subscribe for SMS notification, the notification section, then you will also see the phone field. Go to your autoresponder console and select the HTML version. Select the entire HTML code and copy and paste it. Save the module. Anyone who registers will be automatically passed to your mailing list. If you want the phone field too, then regenerate the HTML code and copy and paste it. Once you have entered all the information, click on the Save Module button to save the information. Thank you message. You can configure the message to be displayed on your webinar registration thank you page. This is the page attendees are redirected to upon completing the registration process. You can also display a custom video on the thank you page by clicking on the checkbox and adding the URL to the video in the checkbox. You can see the supported video formats by clicking on the Allowed Video Formats link. LifeMaps Marketing will supply all thank you page content, including videos. If you click on Display a Text Message checkbox, then you can enter the text message which you want to be displayed on the thank you page. Stop. Hey, Stephen, for a second. Question.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it said on this. On what you guys wrote. It said if you click on the Display a Text Message checkbox, then you can enter the text message which you want to display it on the thank you page. Is that really correct, or will the text message be sent on the phone?
No, it'll just be sent. It'll just be sent on the registration page, like just thanking them for registering or whatever. It would just be preset text.
All right, so it's just like an email then, a text.
Well,
how does it get? It's only on the web page, the text.
I'll pull up an example.
I mean, we can figure this out later. I just was curious because it didn't seem to be. I mean, text message seems to me to be something they send by phone, right? But that's not. That doesn't seem like that's what they're talking about here.
Like, do you see the page now that it's on?
Yep.
Yeah, I see that. Thank you for signing up.
Oh, that's the text message?
Yeah, that's like the text message. Like you can put something underneath it, like just like a message underneath the area where you sign up for it.
Okay.
And then there'll be a video on that page too if you want to do a video.
Okay. Okay. All right, so keep going. If you do not customize the thank you page, then by default it will display the page below. All right. However, your attendees should never see this because LifeMaps uses its own custom content. You will need to work with LifeMaps Marketing to get this content and be set up. Countdown. You can customize your countdown page. displayed to attendees who log into the webinar live room before the webinar scheduled time. By default, the webinar page looks like this. I don't know if you want to. Can you hear me, Stephen?
Yeah, I hear you.
Your screen doesn't seem to be doing anything. It's just stuck. Oh, now it's going pretty. What's going on?
Is it back or still black?
Yeah, now it's back, but it's not. It's on that same page. It hasn't moved in a little while. Off that page. What?
What page is it on?
Does edit webinar.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on there, but it's not moving off that page no matter what you do. You see what you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, what section is it on?
It just says edit webinar, and then it says, oh no, it says customize your countdown page. Okay, so maybe that's correct. All right, maybe that's great. All right, that's fine. I'll keep going. You can customize your countdown page. This is the page will display to attendees who log into the webinar live room before the webinar scheduled time. By default, the webinar page looks like this. Now, when I say that, this is, stuff. I'm reading what the guide says, and this is not going to be necessarily in sync with what they're going to be seeing on the screen. So we need to get that part of it straight.
Well, I mean, I could do like a preview of.
All right, so you can do it like you do it. Yeah, you're doing it right now. Okay, good. But you're too early on the start. Okay, so that's fine. So you got it, and that's what it would. All right, so we could do that then.
Yeah.
Okay. You can display a custom video on the countdown page by clicking on the check box and adding the URL to the video in the text box. You can see the supported video formats by clicking on the Allowed Video Formats link. As with all content, LifeMaps Marketing has developed custom content for the countdown page so that our attendees will never see the default content. Work with LifeMaps Marketing to be sure the appropriate content is loaded. I should say they should never see. We'll never see. So this needs some work, but at least it's a start. Yep. Live. The first step in the live section is to configure your webinar offers. These are usually offers to purchase some product that will be made to attendees before, during, and or after the webinar. The first field in the webinar offer field is to create an offer name that only you will see. The second section is to create a title for your offer. The next entry is to upload an image to describe your offer by entering the URL to the image. The next task is to create a message for your webinar offer that will show up above the offer button. For example, if the offer has a cost, then you would typically put the price or terms of the offer above the button. If it's free, then you might enter free ebook or some similar text. LifeMaps Marketing will create any such offers for you. Next, you decide which type of button you want your webinar offer to display. Choices include Add to Cart, Download, or a custom label button, such as one that indicates interest in learning more. LifeMaps Marketing will create any such buttons for you. Next is where you insert the link to the page attendees will be taken to after they click the offer button. You'll want to make sure that the Open in a New Browser tab button is checked so that it will open a new page and not have it make them leave the webinar page to navigate to the offer page. You can create as many webinar offers as you desire. Now, You put in some stuff about PayPal in there
Yeah.
that I've kind of deleted, at least for now. We can put it back in if we need to, but about sandbox accounts and all that, because I don't think we want our people to be doing that stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think we want that to be done for them so that they
Yeah.
don't have to work. You know what I mean? Because this is not. I mean, if it was somebody just learning webinars for the first time and they needed to do it, that's fine.
Yeah, I understand.
You see what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah.
LifeMaps Marketing will create or approve all of your offers. LifeMaps Marketing will also set up all of the required merchant account and payment information for any webinars that include offers. Okay, so we check all the way down to pre-recorded videos. In this section of the live area, you set up any pre-recorded video presentations. It's very important that you read the message in the blue area. And that message says, important, please note that our built-in webinar record system can only record the live footage of your webinar session and not the pre-recorded videos. To activate pre-recorded presentations through your webinar session, there will be whole chunks of the recorded session that will appear blank. Therefore, if you add the pre-recorded videos through your webinar, you will also want to record an entire pre-recorded replay video as well. Watch the tutorial video for more details. So in order to have your videos in a recorded webinar, you'll need to record the entire video, including the recordings. This week, but it needs to be worked. The first field in the video presentation section is to name the video for your own reference. Next is where you insert the URL to where the video is going to be uploaded from. You can have as many pre-configured videos as you desire. In the final entry of the live section, you'll need to decide if you wish to display the share buttons for LifeMaps, Facebook, and Twitter pages. Replay. The next section is to decide whether to enable a replay of the webinar. The first decision is whether you want to have the actual replay of the recorded live session or pre-recorded video of your choice, or to redirect to your URL that you provide where the webinar will be replayed. Note, if you have a video presentation within your webinar, then you'll need to use the second or third option and record a video of the entire webinar. If you don't do this, then it will be a blank section in the replayed webinar where the video was played. Next, you must decide if you want to replay your webinar at all. You'll then choose whether the replay will expire, and if so, when it will expire. Next is privacy status. You can choose private or public. If you choose public, anyone who searches for the replay would be able to find it. If you choose private, it will be only accessible to those who click on or enter a specific link to the replay of the webinar. LifeMaps Marketing will decide whether a replay is public or private. Next is configuring your webinar replay page. First, you must choose whether to have a question box available to attendees of the replay so that they'd be able to send in questions while they watch the replay. If so, you'll need to provide an email address where the questions will be directed to. Next, you configure your webinar offer page. All of the information is the same as with a live webinar offer. For example, the name, title, offer, image, message above the offer button, message within the offer button, and the button link. This is the part of the fixed offer within the webinar replay page. I didn't understand this. This is the part of the fixed offer within the webinar replay page, then the webinar offer. In this area of the fixed offer, you put in the time of the replay video that you'd want the offer to show up at. Okay. I'll need to work on that. The final choice in the replay section is whether to display the social media share buttons in the replay video. That's your Facebook and your Twitter. Now, once again, Stephen, you had something in there about the miscellany about this affiliate link thing, and I'm not sure. I don't know that we want to get into that for our people, so I think we'd avoid that.
Okay.
But I don't know. That's something I'll talk to Jim about that. I don't know how he wants to handle that. I don't even know really how it all works. So the last step is to publish. Publishing your webinar is simple. All it involves is to make sure that all the information you've entered so far is saved and correct. Then you click on Publish the Webinar button at the bottom of the page. Finally, we will email the links to your presenters and administrators need to sign into the webinar to them by clicking the Email Links to Administrators button. Or email a confirmation link, well, whatever. A final word. Our most important task in creating webinars, whether they are consumer-oriented or internal, is to be consistent, professional, and compelling. We tarnish our brand by allowing webinars that do not strictly adhere to our brand styling and content guidelines. It's your responsibility to know what these standards are and to follow them. LifeMaps Marketing is there to help with all of this and to approve any webinars. Please be sure to use that resource. Thank you for viewing this webinar. All right. So I think, obviously there's some room for improvement, but it's overall it's a good exercise to keep going through. My feeling on this is I should go back, clean up the script a little bit, and then we can try this again tomorrow or whenever you're available.
I'm available anytime, so.
Okay. Well, let me clean up the script like today, this afternoon.
Okay.
And tonight, whenever. It shouldn't take me that long, but a couple hours at least. And let's try to do this. I guess first thing tomorrow morning. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Also, in that, I think it was the replay section in the fixed offer.
Yeah.
Let me look at it real quick. So there's one thing that I know that I caught on that you were saying that.
Not right.
Was.
Well, put it this way: go to that in the script, and if you find anything in the script that's wrong, for sure. And again, the script I need to add a lot to it now that I've gone through it. I see a lot of holes in it and some things that need to be corrected, which I'll do tonight. But go ahead and if you find anything in there, correct it by all means.
What it was this. This is a part of the fixed offer within the webinar replay page. That what I meant is that is different. I don't know how that got taken out, but
what page are you on? Can you tell me what page?
33.
33. This is the part of the fixed offer within the webinar replay page, then the webinar offer. That part there?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, this is the part of the fixed offer within the webinar page that is different than the webinar offer. So
I don't can you explain it to me, because I'm not really sure I follow this whole thing.
What I meant by that is, let me go back, because what I meant by that is the delay the offer part, you don't normally see in the webinar offer. Like if you go back to the notification where the offer was, where the first set of offers were offered.
In the live webinar, or
yeah, in the live.
Yep.
There's not the option to delay the offer.
Okay.
So that's what I meant by that. It was different than the other area.
There's not the option to delay the offer. In other words, what is it? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I don't know really how to describe it. I mean, for the live offer, I mean, you just pop in the offers whenever you want, or you can.
Right.
But for the replay, you have to for the replay one, you have to like put in the time in the video that you want the offer to pop in at.
Okay, so if the offer is supposed to be made at 45 minutes into the video,
Yeah, that's then the delay the offer would, that's where you would put that in.
Hi. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, I was being a little too loud.
So
All right, so you're saying that in the live offer you can just pop in offers anytime you want, but in the replay deal it has to be preset at a certain moment in time.
yeah, and then it'll pop in.
Okay. So this is the part of the fixed offer whether in the air the fixed offer put in the time of the replay they want to show. Okay. Okay.
That's really all that's different.
I see what you're saying. All right. So I see what you're saying. All right. I'll fix that.
Okay. That's what I meant. That's what I meant by that. Somehow that part got taken out of it.
Yeah, I don't know what I made some edits, so maybe I took something out, but I'm not sure.
I don't know if you did it or we did. Me and Hoshita did it a while ago. I don't even know.
Okay.
Yep. But that's the only thing that I noticed.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it looks better than it's getting there.
Yeah, no, I made a lot of changes, but because before it was more of a guide, now I'm trying to make it more of a script, so it's
Yeah.
because you don't want to be reading a book, it gets really boring.
Mhm.
So you'd want to make it, and you don't really have to when you have somebody showing what's going on the screen. Now, ideally, we'd be able to, and this is practice for us, is that what we need to be able to do is show some text on the screen and then back into manipulating the software. So in other words, you go back and forth between the two modes, and I think maybe the only way to do that is record it, right?
Not necessarily. Technically, we could keep on switching back and forth between the, like you do a screen share of the PowerPoint, and I do a screen share of the Webinar Jam website.
Okay.
And we could do it that way.
All right, and maybe that's it. But I guess the one thing that troubles me is just the I don't know if it's a connectivity issue or what it is, but the thing just disappears or it just goes crazy for a second, And we obviously can't have that happening when we're trying to do this professionally. So I don't know if that means we have to do a recording or what. I don't know. I'm like a video or.
I'll look into that and see.
Yeah, is it just purely a connectivity issue on one of our ends? In other words, you're losing you have a fluctuation in your bandwidth or something like that, or is it something else?
I don't know. I'll try doing it in a different room next time and see if it changes it.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just the limitation of this particular software, or I guess one question I don't really understand: is Webinar Jam part of Google or no?
Second. Yeah, I think it is. Well, no, it's not part of Google. The Hangout is different than Google. I mean, they use Google's Hangout, but yeah, they use Google's Hangout, but they just like partner with Google to host the webinars, but I don't think they're related with Google.
So you can't go directly to Webinar Jam's website and just do it there. I guess you have to have a
Google Hangout.
A Google place to hang out. Okay. Because I don't know if that's what it is, because who knows? I mean, because if you're trying to do this professionally and make professional videos or professional webinars,
I mean, I'll try just to try it out. I'll try it in a different room next time and see if it changes it. But
I'm more wondering if is that something you can do in the cloud like this, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, how do normal webinars? What's the normal webinar like a WebEx? I'm assuming WebEx has their own site that you just do everything from. I don't know.
I don't know if it either. I'd have to look into it and research.
Well,
What?
I don't want to get into all the research. I'm just curious because I
Yeah,
don't
no.
know if this is the best we can do. Then this is it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's fine. It seems to work fine for ordinary type webinars. If you're just going to do like a conference and you want, like, for example, if we did that conference call we did on Friday or Thursday this way, that kind of thing would be fine.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to put together a presentation that you want people to buy something for, you know what I mean? It has to be tight.
Yeah.
You can't have lapses in the video and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I don't know how we do it that.
I don't know. I mean, was it working fine was it working fine in the beginning for a while, and then it started doing that, or was it doing it all the way from the beginning?
Well, let put it this way. It works. I don't. This is the thing that I don't that I'm unsure about. Like, for example, you do your screen share and it's okay. I can read it, but it's not real clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit fuzzy. So that's what I'm just unsure of how do they create professional ones because that are out there that you can download and look at. And I don't know if that's done this way or is it some other way you have to do it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there for now. We'll figure that part of it out. But I think this is good practice. So let me go back.
We can go back and watch the replay of it too and see what it looks like.
Yeah, now you'll post that on the site there?
Yeah, so as soon as I end it, it will be posted on YouTube.
Okay. So it's in that same area you.
Yeah, that I sent you before.
All right, that's on Skype, right? So I can go back and. All right, that's cool. All right, let me go ahead and fix up go back and work on the script some more, get that back in even better. And then we'll get together again and try to maybe do this either first thing tomorrow, maybe even tonight if we can figure it out.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye-bye.